Welcome back to Catching Up with Katie. I think this week is truly going to be a catch-up kind of episode. Just what's going on? What are we about to do? What have we just done? We've just been kind of yapping the past couple of weeks, gotten off on some wild tangents. And I would like to point out that even though in Tennessee, there's a heat advisory, it is the hottest week of the year. Nate is wearing a leather jacket.
And I would like to point out that it's approximately 63 degrees in this room. At the current time.
It is.
I was wearing a jacket on the last one as well.
It is chilly.
A little chilly.
But he committed to the bit after Matt showed him up last week.
Mm-hmm. It ain't a competition. We're just trying to elevate.
I ain't never seen that page boy hat you got on.
I'm making a collection.
Is it new?
It's a Cracker Barrel special.
Cracker Barrel carries.
Are you serious?
Page boy hats?
Cracker Barrel.
Oh no, you're serious.
And Walmart's drip has gone up.
Oh, I knew the Walmart lore.
But Cracker Barrel, every once in a while, at least the one in Cookville, they'll have. I've gotten 2 of these from Cracker Barrel.
Really?
And I would like a more neutral
Can I be
colors.
that person? You gotta really talk into your mic.
Can you hear me?
You're the person, like the whole.
Oh, I already know.
Yeah.
I already know. I edited the last one.
But I'm just before we get to
But
I'm just giving you a little.
I also talk really soft too and mumble, so I'm trying to not do that either. Look at my stuff. Private. I could have had a text message up there.
It was Lily.
No, we're inducing next Monday.
Bum, bum, bum. What do you mean next Monday?
This Monday or next
like
Monday?
5 days from now? Yeah. You're not going another week and a half, are you?
I think that's maybe. It's either next Monday or the Monday after. This coming Monday.
If she's already 39 weeks, it has to be this Monday.
Something like that.
The
Today's her
6th
last
or
day
the
of work.
13th? What rings a bell?
13th.
Okay.
Oh.
But the 13th is but they couldn't get her in the induction. If she shows up, obviously they're going to do it. But they couldn't get her in the induction until then. But that's last call. They're worried that the baby's getting a little too big for her tiny little body. So that's last straw. If you don't have it by then we're taking it out.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's a heat wave here in Tennessee. I think it's a heat wave kind of across the South, but I don't know other state lore and their weather, but here you could literally just walk outside and
Now to Nate with the weather.
cut the air. Yeah, give us the what does the humidity look like for that kind of weather where you get out of a hot shower and you walk into another hot shower anytime you just walk out the door?
Humidity's certainly 80% or higher.
Which is not what you want.
That's when you start experiencing the outer shower.
It's not a joke.
You both showed up and looked so nice and put together. And I'm I've been outdoors since 5 a.m.
At a cost.
And have just been drenched.
Yeah, no, it's brutal out there right now.
It only takes 5 minutes walking outside to get
I just
sweaty.
walked in probably 7 minutes ago and we were at the barn. My back is still this 63-degree room. I'm a little shivery because my back is sopping wet.
and miserable.
But we've been kind of altering our schedule and I think I'm a new person.
I'm a big
You like the
guy.
morning?
Big morning guy. Big early morning person.
I think I'm a new person, but my problem is, so for backstory, we all decided for the animals' health, for our health, we're not on a set schedule as far as a feeding schedule or whatever. So let's just start earlier. Let's just do 5 to 5:30 until 2. We come in from the outdoors by 10 or 11 and then we're in editing and doing office stuff and like that until 2. And so I've been really liking it.
Yeah.
The problem is I don't go to bed earlier.
Right.
That's the only problem with this system is not going to bed.
I went to bed at 1:00 the first 2 nights, which is my norm.
Mm-hmm.
And then last night I made myself go to sleep at midnight. And so it'll hit me at some point, but I'm trying to get the girls on this new train.
It's the best.
Because I'm even in the winter, it gets dark so early. I'm we just need to start earlier. Is this what 30 is?
Yes. Wow, you just found it. This is what it is.
I turned 30. Mind you, my entire life, I have been a stay up till 3 a.m., sleep until 11 person. I love being up at night, all night long. I'm super productive, honestly. And I can sleep forever. And this is not me. And I turned 30 3 weeks ago. And now I'm like, why don't we just start at daylight?
I mean, there was no pushback on that 6 a.m. time. It was just like, yeah, let's do it. I went,
When we did the mini horses?
yes. I was like, well, let's say 6. It'll probably
Because
be 7.
usually when I'm like, guys, let's do an early morning. And they're like, okay, what? And I'm like, 8:30?
I'm up at 8:30 anyway. Y'all be here at 8:30 and we'll start when we start. Not anymore. And I mean, it's gosh, almighty boy. I mean, it's hot. It's freaking hot.
And that's the hard part with animals is, we're still trying to train. We're still trying to get content, meaning they have to have some sort of personality and life in them. It's just so hot to the point where from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m., everyone is just miserable.
Yeah.
And just like, bleh. So I already rode Ricky this morning. I already rode Shelby. I was there with Rebecca while her little girls got a lesson. I've already made 6 videos.
Yeah.
What time is it? It's
10 on the dot.
It's 10 on the dot. So we, I really like it.
Yeah, I'm excited about
I'm
it.
an adult
fan.
now.
I'm a big
Just
fan
hot.
of this.
Having to put a shade cloth on the garden.
A shade cloth.
Shade cloth.
What are you growing in there?
Yeah, what are you growing?
Cucumbers, okra, cabbages, corn, tomatoes, peppers, herbs, lavender.
I've been decently successful with flowers. I have never been successful with tomatoes and
This is my first time doing a
and-
flower garden.
herbs. Let me just say, I have not touched my herb garden in 3 years. And that bad boy's still going. That bad boy is yielding.
So the herbs are good.
Herbs are great. I actually just made pickles for the first time the other day. Going to see how those turn out here shortly. I also am having a problem with cucumber beetles, though. So if any of you gardeners out there know the fix
they're there.
other than neem
They'll be in the
oil,
comments.
they'll
They'll
know.
help you.
This is my first year. Last year it was the aphids on my tomato plants, but I have like so strategically planted like herbs and whatnot that are pest controlling and for specific beds, and like it's great. This is the best crop I've ever had ever. This is my second garden, but this is the best crop I've ever had.
It's the second one,
Like-
but it's better.
I'll just go out there at 5 a.m. with my cup of coffee and my underwear, and I'll just look, do the old dad pose and just gosh.
So, okay, am I wrong in saying that, and this would make it a little beautiful too, marigolds apparently
Have plenty.
keep,
French
bugs and
marigolds
stuff
do.
away, but they stink.
French marigolds do. I don't have the French marigolds ones, so they aren't as
Stinky.
helpful, but they do look pretty. And I do have a designated flower garden this time for pollinators. And it's just so, like, I have so many bees, so many butterflies. Like, it's just,
He's not 30 yet, but he's there.
I've been 30 for like the last 5 years. I mean, it's just, this is like, I love it. I literally love it. Man, I've had my neighbors come over and give me compliments
What
on
a
it.
rush.
I mean, oh my
That
gosh.
truly
What a
is
rush.
the rush.
Oh, what a rush. But speaking of a rush, and this is just a little something I'll throw in there for bragging rights, Nate and I yesterday got a reservation at the Catbird Seat.
What is that?
Very excited
It's
about
a
it.
Michelin star restaurant here in Nashville. And so we've always wanted to go to a Michelin star
For all 3
restaurant.
of us?
We seriously thought about it. And the only
I
reason
don't deserve it.
It's not
No,
that.
no, you wouldn't.
It's that you wouldn't.
You wouldn't do it.
I
eat
know.
it.
That's what I'm saying. I don't deserve a seat at that table.
You just actually wouldn't eat.
Exactly.
Because you don't order.
It's a set menu.
It's a
my
set
nightmare.
menu. Exactly.
It's your nightmare.
Exactly.
Nightmare.
We thought about it. We're like because like comparatively, like the price is like it was $100 per seat to reserve it,
To make the
Like-
reservation.
Oh my gosh.
which was ridiculous. But immediately made me want to go even more. I was like, how exclusive? But like the menu, like the dinner is like is a set price of like $200, which overall like
Do they do a wine pairing?
Yes.
separate and stuff. Like you pay for all that. That's where they get you, I'm sure. But like all in all, it's really not that. Like where we ate before the comedy show, I felt like. Of course, there was like
Yeah,
there
Morton's.
were quite a few people, but like probably same price point.
Right.
The
But,
same price point, but you get to pick what you
It's a
want.
fancy evening. It's
You
a,
get to
fancy
select your
evening,
meal.
and the reservations go out really, really, really quick. Like I
Are-
had to call at 12 o'clock when it opened for
Are your
August.
wives Michelin star eaters?
I think mine.
story.
I think mine would be. So Macy was actually a designer on the restaurant.
His wife is so cool.
She-
They're both so cool. They both have their own niches that they're so good at, which is awesome. I love when people like throw themselves into a passion and are good at it.
Yes. So I'm really excited to see her, what stuff she picked out and stuff like that.
She also, I'm really excited out of the goodness of her heart. And, it's just kind of like this wall.
Yeah.
Things just don't get done. We have all the intentions. And so we have a little space here in the shop that we really want to make into an office. And we just had all the intentions of shopping and creating this space. And finally I was like, Macy, please make me a space. And so I'm excited to see that come together.
I think it's gonna look
The
great.
PJs are the coolest thing, I think.
Oh yeah, she there's a pajama company in my Sundays, and she's done quite a few designs of those pajamas as well.
You know, I know somebody else who is coming out with pajama stuff that might need to hit her up.
That would be cool. I would
really good.
I would wear some running springs PJs.
She's really
Did you know we did that?
Did you know we did that?
Well, they've just sold out so
That's
fast
very
that
Irish
of
it
you.
hasn't been to everyone yet. I launched pajama pants, and within I think
Were they
4
silky?
hours, they're like they're
Or
really
sweaties?
soft. They're really soft. They're not too heavy.
Are they
but
kind of
they're
like the stretchy cotton? What does it feel like?
it's poly rayon. I should know this because I just did like a whole ad
Yeah.
about it. My brain is
They're
fried,
not
but
bamboo.
they're like, I would say they are
Not for
geared
me.
more towards like a fall
Okay.
PJ pant.
Okay.
They're really, really soft, really fuzzy. They've got mayors all over them. Like we did a mayor design.
Yeah.
And so they sold out in like 4 hours and everyone's like, when are they back?
Not
Like-
cutesy. They're more like
They're more like, they're cute. Like they're cute.
Yeah.
They're cute.
Okay.
not like Christmas PJs
No,
or whatever. More like
they have like probably like a springy
Yeah,
type of
yeah,
vibe. But I sold out so fast that even subscribers were like, get them back,
Yeah.
come back. And so we did a big order.
in a warehouse.
We do. That's the thing. We've never done this before where we're like ordering beforehand, and we've never like ordering stuff with sizes is super difficult. So it's one thing if we're like, okay, we're going to order 4,000 coloring books or whatever. And then, sometimes they sell out or sometimes we just have them in the store. Well, with pants, it's like, how many smalls do we order? How many larges? How many 4XLs?
That's the thing everybody
Like,
struggles with.
Okay, we're talking. This is totally in an entirely different direction than pajamas, but you're talking about like pre-ordering things.
it's a nightmare. It's so hard.
And I can't remember what I was reading, but it was something along this lines, but with a house. So, what if you could sell your house this way? I don't even know if you can, but you basically just like, oh, I'm going to pay $10 for like a raffle. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to sell my house for, I need to get $300,000. So, hey, you can buy my house for $10. We're just going to do a drawing. If I sell X amount of tickets, we go through with it. If not, you're refunded.
Yeah.
But you go, well, I'll pay $10 for a chance at a house. Maybe make $600,000.
So that's
Like,
considered
is that possible?
It's considered a lottery
Okay.
and it's illegal in a lot of states.
Okay.
Yeah,
That might
raffles
foil the plan.
raffles are illegal in a lot of states because I see people on Facebook do that constantly for horses. They'll be like, and it depends. Sometimes it's okay.
Yeah.
But sometimes they'll be like, hey, we have 50 spots for $50 a piece
Yeah, yeah.
to win this futurity 2-year-old or like whatever. And people do it.
Yeah.
I did it for a donkey one time. I didn't win.
Well, it's just like
What is that?
$2,500. Is
100? Yeah.
that right?
50 times 50?
Is it 1,000? 25.
20.
100.
Yeah.
25,000.
1,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be stupid.
Well, I
But
fell
like
on
it'll
it.
be like that, or they'll be like $100, but it's this super whatever, and they'll do like I mean,
I did that one time for a chance to meet Amelia Clark, Nara Targaryen.
oh.
She was having like, it was like the season 8 like episode, like this final episode or whatever, like watch party or whatever. You can like pay 100. I don't even want to know what I paid. to like, or how many chances I bought to to me,
That's the thing,
because
you
this
can
was
buy
right
more
out of
spots.
deployment. This was at the end of my deployment. I was just about to come home, so I was like very single, and like she was obviously. I had to get married at some point, so I was like, "Well,
he
Daenerys
was
Targaryen will do."
shooting the shot.
I mean, I had it all worked out. Winning was just that was just whatever. Like I already had like what I was going to do when I got there, what I was going to wear. It's like winning was
Okay,
just part
what was
of
it? Give us the plan.
But I didn't win. Actually, some girl from like Philadelphia won.
She didn't deserve it.
Had a whole dinner. It was like there was a dinner, a watch party. I just couldn't imagine. I used to think she was so cool. I was like, that was like the last time like I was really big on watching like behind the scenes, like watching what these people do in their personal lives and what. I don't think I've ever done that.
I forget
since.
that y'all watch TV shows or movies.
That was the
as,
last
like,
one I watched.
wanting to be filmmakers.
Yeah.
And you watch it from that perspective versus just watching a TV show.
Yeah, it's actually really difficult for me
I can't
to
turn
not
it off,
watch
though. It has to be good, but like that's what I look for is something that I can like turn this off instead of being like, oh, this sucks because.
The problem is as soon as I see something that makes me go, how did they do that?
You're
We
locked
bet-
into
we
Which is
better-
why I
something
like
else.
anime so much, is because like I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
I don't expect any of this to be like feasible.
Like sometimes it'll be like a mirror shot and the camera will like go through the mirror
Yeah.
into the next room. And I'm like, how did they do that? Back it up.
Mhm.
Back it up.
The funny thing is, I don't know if you can tell, we sat down today because we just needed to film this, and we were like, so what are we
And I had all my coffee drank probably before she got the intro out.
what
So
are we chatting about today? I drink my coffee as well.
that's actually a funny story too. Is I had a guy like coming over to quote me some windows for my house, and I'm not nervous, but like I guess a nervous fiddler. Whether it's like I'm sitting here talking to this guy about, and I didn't realize that I'm on my 6th cup of coffee, like within like. Because I'm just talking and whatnot. I need to have something to do with my hands. So it's like, I'll just go fill up another cup or whatever and keep talking, go fill up another cup and keep talking. He left. And I was just like,
Sweating.
and like, it was a bad situation. I was like, whoa. And then my wife was like, yeah. I was like, did you not notice him looking at you oddly? Like when you went back for like your 4th cup? Anyway.
And then the 5th and then the 6th.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at now. This Death Wish stuff is.
Oh, yeah. Jonathan refuses to have normal coffee.
Well, that's what happens when you drink coffee all the time is it doesn't work. I need a coffee detox is what I need.
Speaking of, so every now and then, Nate just decides to be completely unattainably clean eating and clean drinking and whatever, and
Yeah.
like no caffeine, no sugar, no whatever. When are we getting back to that? When's your next run?
If I'm just guessing based off of my current mental state, I would probably say late August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I don't
have
know.
to- we talked about this not too long ago.
It could be really soon. I just started signed up for some, it's called like Rhythm or something. Maybe you've seen ads. It's basically like a blood test.
Mm.
So
Interesting.
you do it at home and you send it in. You can do one a
I
month.
could never do that to myself.
And
Just
so-
be like,
Well, no, it's not. It's like a little patch that sticks to your arm. You just hit the button, and it just fills up a little thing. You send it on.
Like
So
a
I'm like,
leech.
okay, well, I can get my blood work done every month. I may get the first one. I think as soon as the first one comes back, whatever it says, even if it says everything's all good, I'll go, oh, we got to keep it there, and then that's when it'll start.
so something to think about. NSBA World is in August.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going for a long time. We're there for quite a while. Now we have like a banging house. Okay. We have a sick house with a pool. We're going to make the best of it. It's going to be a really fun time because when you go for somewhere that long, I mean,
How long? 10 days?
if you don't have a good place to stay, it just really sucks.
Yeah.
And so we'll have a little bit of downtime, but like I said in the last episode, like we have like the potential for 10 classes that my horses will be showing in. I won't be showing in that many,
Right.
but my horses at least. And so one of the things that y'all haven't experienced yet going to these horse shows with me is night rides.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So at these big horse shows where there's specific arenas and the horse show goes from 8 a.m. sometimes until like late, the only time that you can get your horse in that arena is in the middle of the night.
1
And so they
a.m..
have scheduled like sections. They'll be like, okay, Western riders, they can come in from midnight to 2 a.m. And then, okay, the hunter saddle horses can come in from 2 to 4 or like whatever. And so we're going to have to do that.
Yeah.
Now, we probably won't make everybody get up. It'll probably just be like, hey, I need one.
I'll be pretty loud. When
I
I'm
need
getting
one
ready.
buddy.
And it doesn't matter because if I'm up, I'm up.
Yeah.
So I might as well go.
If we're up, everybody's up.
Well, it'll probably just like literally be me, Stephanie, and like one of you.
Elena.
Probably Rachel and Elena.
Probably.
No.
I'll at least go ask them. Did y'all? Y'all were sorry. Hey,
Y'all wanna
did
go?
y'all
We were
say
about to
you
go.
were wanting to go?
We're about to leave.
And like, so we'll do that. Because I mean, every time that you've gone to Congress with me, the World Show, we're just there watching.
Yeah.
We're not participating, And so
Certainly not in the middle of the night.
at the Congress, and we'll have to do night rides.
Well, there's also more shopping. I'm pretty excited about these next.
I'm excited about the big ones.
The big ones. I got to go see my homies at Brink's Hattery.
Yeah.
That wasn't a shout out, but I just
We're also Shorty's Cowboy Hattery people as well.
and short. Yeah, just I wanted to go.
Yeah.
They have like
I have a shorties.
They were just saying their big booth. Like the last few horse shows, they
Is
have
this
like
where you're gonna have one made?
no, but
Why not?
because like what I want is like they may not have like on like usually for shows like that they bring like set stock or whatever. They can give you like 3 or 4 different options.
Because I've seen
or
them
whatever.
make some really cool custom stuff.
And they may like that's why I want to go because they said like at that show is where they have their
October's also
huge
your
thing.
birthday, and
that's why I won't be
usually
there.
you both get like a present while we're at horse shows,
Because mine's in August,
That's true.
which is a horse show month, and so
which is why he got his cowboy hat.
That's when I got my hat.
Yeah, I paid for my own though.
But it wasn't your birthday.
No. I also got a cool jacket, and to this day, like that jacket that you got me for my birthday has
That
been like
jacket's-
my favorite article of clothing I have
He
ever
wears
had.
it when
Like,
it's
I'll
too
wear,
hot.
Yeah, I'll wear it. That is a September through March wear, buddy. Like, if it's like a below 80, like I'm, it's at least out.
Yeah. That jacket's so great.
And then the one year we went, I got you that vest.
Yeah. No, that is a limited time wear, but that's also great. It's very like I'm switching my style, I think, into more horse showy vibe. Like just got some, switching the jeans, getting out of the skinny jean vibe.
Oh,
Um,
are you okay? If you okay,
yeah,
okay,
I feel like the last horse show we got some great, like that one store we went to that like we really like cleaned house at where we got the boots. Like
Yeah.
that,
if you go full horse show drip, are you gonna go like super starched jeans?
no, because I have to be a little punk,
Yeah.
cowboy punk.
But that's like
Pin that.
I
That's a
think
good
that
idea.
is
That is
like
good.
no one starches their jeans anymore. It's like
So
For a reason.
you would stand out.
yeah, but no, it's like the crease and the
And,
like.
and it looks great. It's just like
Yeah.
what I want to represent whenever I go to the horse show is a little punk, Not, I don't want to be a little punk.
so what
but
is horse show punk? Like black nails?
No. I feel like this is a
Oh.
little like, it's not horse show punk, but
Maybe it's horse show Europe.
horse show Europe, like Banana Republic is my jam. Like, anything old, I guess that's what I mean by horse show. Like, paperboy hats, give me some Henleys, give me some boot cut jeans.
so that is. I would say that's just like a put together type of look. I feel like horse show to me, because of the types of horse shows that I go to, is like you're wearing a cowboy hat
Right.
and starched jeans and square toed boots and
yeah, I
like a
want
belt
my
buckle
version.
and
I
So
like if
what you think more along the lines
Hollywood
of
went horse show,
like a European
GQ horse show.
cowboy old money.
Yeah, old money was the word I was looking
Little
for.
old money cowboy?
I see those reels all the time. That's why I love Banana Republic.
So I've only watched like a couple episodes of that Dutton Ranch show, like the new Yellowstone spinoff. But there is a lady now. She's the villain.
The old lady.
She's the villain.
Yeah, she looks great.
Okay.
but
I'm
I
talking-
aspire. Like
Oh, yeah.
her
Gloves.
drip. Like she always has like a big old squash blossom, a Gucci jacket, like a. Like
She looks like she's in horse show drip all the time.
They are. Yes, they are.
They're big horse people on
That
the show.
is horse show.
I know, and I feel like I've seen it all through. Like I've seen the whole thing just on YouTube Shorts, but like I am picking up a lot. Like they're actually like they're doing the thing. Like they're doing horse show stuff.
They do like, from what I've understood, like reining
Right.
and all this stuff.
But still the
Which,
same
by
thing.
the way, Never mind. We'll come back to that in a private manner.
Okay. Yeah. Old money cowboy.
Yeah,
I think that's a vibe.
that lady has the craziest drip. I love the gloves. I like the very. I knew a lady like that one time.
I don't aspire to be like a old lady who is like very subdued and like
An old hen.
like no, I don't want like a quiet style. Like I want to be like you
Loud.
can't see my fingers.
Yeah.
Because of the turquoise.
Yeah.
I want my gray hair to be down to my waist. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
we're going gaudy.
For
we're
sure.
going.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm not there yet. Like we're very small right now, but
Well, you've got. Think of
I
what
feel
you
like
can do in the next 30 years.
Yeah, I feel like you can't really get.
we got to build to that. You know,
At what age does like gaudy start being like your
50s.
I was gonna say like 45 would be like, because if you went super gaudy now, it'd be like more of an eyesore. Once you hit like
Instead
50
of like,
though,
I love her.
it's like, oh, she's doing it.
Yeah.
Like she don't care.
Yeah.
She's just doing her. Like yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a certain standard of meeting with everybody else up
Mm-hmm.
into that point.
Yeah, I already feel like I don't really care about current fashion trends. Like I just kind of wear whatever I want. But
I cared a lot more in high school, and of course, everybody I'm sure can say this, but I feel like I look back and I'm like, dude, like stupid, just dumb.
I wore a uniform my whole life, and so when I went to college,
missed that
did
opportunity.
not know how to dress whatsoever.
I feel like I'm team uniform though.
It was amazing. I would wear Nike shorts and a t-shirt, and I'd drive to school every day, and I would literally just put my skirt on and my polo over what I was wearing, and then I didn't have to think about it, you know?
I would
Yeah.
love that.
It was amazing. I will
would've
say
loved
that.
it.
Like I very much enjoyed that. But then I got to college and was like, oh, my out of school clothing involves Bermuda shorts from Tractor Supply and some shirts that just were not
Yeah.
of the times. And my college roommate, bless her, Ashley, was like, hey, let's go to Target and just do a little revamp.
Yeah.
And then
this.
I went full Target. Then I was like, I am Target, because they had all the
Which is not a bad thing.
they had all the cold shoulder shirts. This was, what year would have been? 2014, 2015. I was full 2015. I was full like always skinny jeans with my fry boots and the like huge infinity scarves and like statement necklaces. Oh my God. Bring it back. I loved it.
Were you a Nike shorts, too big shirt girl?
Big shirt, Nike shorts, tube socks that were like, I don't know what they're called. Like with tennis shoes or Birkenstocks.
Yeah. I remember the Nike shorts era.
I did go through a phase. I've never been cool in my life, like a part of the cool crowd in my life, except for about a year in college.
Yeah.
I fit in for about a year. Shouldn't have done that.
And then you
And yes,
is that why you stopped fitting in?
because I wasn't allowed back. He's bringing up that I was kicked out of college.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it took me about a year to settle in.
Yeah.
Sophomore year, cool girl. They still didn't like me because I wouldn't drink and stuff. But as far as like the fits, aesthetics.
Yeah.
I
You
fit
looked
in.
the part.
I did.
I was that kid that never wore shorts in school. Never. I got made fun of for my hairless legs one time when I was in like the third grade by Allie Murphy, I believe her name was, and never forgot about it.
I hope she's in the comments. So she knows how she's affected you.
I'm talking like altered my whole life. Like I went to, started reading magazines about like hair care, like that's where it all started for me.
You know what's funny? Would you describe me as like a quiet person,
In what way?
personality wise?
No, I don't think so.
Because that's how I was like perceived middle school and high school. Because
In what way? I mean, like if you were in
laughed
a
really
stranger,
hard and like belly laughed at something, and I think I think it was Grant Mason made fun of me so hard that I just like
that was it.
That was it. But also, there was a lot of things I deserved to be made fun of for.
Yeah.
One thing that
But that I just was like, and like in my head, I'm like, I knew I wasn't a quiet person. I knew that I was like
You're probably a
I
quiet
don't know.
person to like strange, like in a strange group, new group.
Maybe, but I don't know.
It's maybe more 10 years ago than now.
Yeah, and I just knew that I wasn't that person. And so one day it clicked. I was in like a home ec class or something, and someone referred to how quiet I was, and they were like, "Well, no, you're a quiet person." I'm like, like it was funny, but I was like a sophomore or a junior in high school, and I was like, "Oh, that's how I'm perceived
is
here."
this in the same era as when you were writing a lot? WRITING.
Oh, junior year, yeah, that kicked up.
And I'm just imagining like you get made fun of really hard about like ha ha ha, and then you become this quiet person, but you also have like this struggling inner monologue of like you're masking.
I've always
like the person I really am. It's got to come out somehow.
No, because the things that I was writing
Her
were
buds
nothing about.
The demon lord.
What?
I'm gonna express myself on planet.
They made me
And I
read.
want you to know, I want to clear the air that I am never making fun of you whenever I bring this up, because I think it is something that is one of your more respectable lore facts. And I wish it is something
that I wrote.
that you write. I don't think that it's over. I think that there are still pages being written.
I haven't written in a long
that
time.
and just the open arms to D&D is like that's the side I want to tap into. It's like the off-camera side is
So
what.
we're not going to get into what I read to you, but there is a little snippet in the last horse show video where it shows me out in the open. Why we were doing it so publicly, I don't know.
For the adrenaline rush.
I was reading an excerpt from a story that I had written, and I chose a very steamy, scene to read to them, and
It was great.
I wish there was footage of you because you were on your knees like this as I was reading.
It was spicy. It was
And
like
you kept,
Catherine.
and I would say something, you go, ooh. Like,
It's the reason why we can't do that in D&D. She's like, all right, well, I'm going to roll to do this, and I'm going to roll something and go,
that was that era. Like I was writing that story at that time. And like I did have some girlfriends that I think were also considered quiet. I think they were also in that niche. And they would read it chapter by chapter in the mornings.
Yeah.
And I don't think they were the crowd for that book. But, bless them for
Were they?
bless them for supporting.
Yeah. Did you ask them? Will you read my new chapter?
And well, then they were like, let me read it. But then I went to a Church of Christ school, and it was very, some kids were wild, but some kids were just like very straight and narrow.
Yeah.
And I was definitely like in with the straight and narrow crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Still am. I think I still am. But like my book was not.
your expressive outlet took the reader to places that
They just had never imagined. I don't know how we got here. Let's get off this.
We're talking about
because
what you were known for.
and I think
No one else knew that though. It was just my little
Right.
little
Well, I
group.
was talking about school stuff, and I have envy for people that can just have that about themselves and like still have like their character. Like I feel like you two have like characters that you don't ever sway from. You can be Nathan Perry and decide to go on a diet or decide to quit coffee or whatever. You can be Katie Van Slyke and still have some like secret smut thing or whatever. It's like, but like for me, like if I was like decided I was going to write smut, like it would change my whole, like I would change the way I dressed. I would change the way I freaking, like operated my day. Like I have to like do a full character swap and like whatever if I'm going to be a camera guy, like I'm going to have to start dressing like a camera guy, start doing vibes and things with a camera guy. Like what do they say? What do they do? That's my thing. That's my curse. I haven't known my original self probably since the 6th grade.
Wow, we're really we're deep diving here. We're getting to know Matthew Austin Turpin.
Nobody has known. I don't know myself anymore. I think that's the point that we're getting at, and we can
Maybe that's why
we can
you
explore
like,
this.
Maybe that's why you like D&D. You get to be whoever you want.
Yeah, it's a break of the ever impending crushing weight of not realizing who I am. It's just like, okay, I don't have to be anymore. Yeah. Yeah. So
Nate, you look like you had a school story.
I got known for somehow, and I don't know how big the circle was, sleeping in jeans. It just became a thing that people would you sleep in jeans.
sounds like an insult.
It does.
It maybe it was,
It
You
sounds
look
like
somebody
it sounds
who
like
sleep in
a.
jeans.
but I did.
It sounds like
I did sleep in jeans.
like a inside joke where they're saying something else to you, but they're like, "Oh, you sleep in jeans," but they're really like saying something worse.
Well, you'd go over to a buddy's house, stay the night, and I would just fall asleep, but I wouldn't like put on nighttime clothes or anything.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, for sure.
So I just would sleep, and they'd be like, "You slept in your jeans?"
I used to sleep in jeans when I was like skinny and it didn't hurt.
And I was like, "Yeah." And then it just became a thing of like, I don't know how you do it, sleeping in jeans. And it just became a thing that I
doesn't
I
sound
slept
like
in jeans.
teenager, like vernacular. I don't know.
Hey,
I can see it. It's like, but it was always such like a different world going over to somebody's house, like in school. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, like this is that you like. It's just like you feel like your way of operating and living is like universal, and so like if somebody else,
No, other people's houses, they're all so different.
so like
their bare minimum
Yeah.
rules are hilarious.
it's
like,
great.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it now more than ever. I'm regressing.
I was definitely the house that was like, want to come over here? My mom said that you could sleep over here, but I can't come to your house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and as an adult, I completely understand, but
yeah, I didn't want.
I didn't get to
stay
go to
in
a
my
whole lot of
house.
people's houses.
yeah,
I was ashamed. I wasn't ashamed of my parents, but I didn't want them to like think my dad was weird. My dad was weird. He's that guy that would come up to like while everybody was hanging out on the couch and just stand there and look at the couch. What are y'all doing? Like, Dad! Or just stand there and go,
I feel like there's not a whole lot more awkward than like when you go over to a friend's house and then they have to go do something and then you're like there by yourself.
One thing will raise that. And I hate to be the guy to one up.
No,
There was
please.
one thing, and I remember it specifically. I'm not going to say names, but the only thing worse than that is being over at somebody's house and he starts like, "Shut up, Mom!" And you're like, dude, all the time. I had a buddy.
You're like, I didn't say
growing
it.
up, all the time I stayed at his house, and dude, him and his parents would just like, and I was like, for sure, like you and I had the same kind of like, I'm like, I guess I wouldn't say more worldly, but I have just certainly seen more things. And like at that time, like that was like, I thought my mom was going to come like hear that and come over here and beat me just for like being in association with it. But like, dude, like he would be like, we'd always go down there and play or whatever. And his mom would come down and say something. He would just immediately, bam, like, I'm doing like, you always do this crap. And it's just like, and then she'd start yelling and the dad would start yelling. And it's all you can do is just sit there with your hands. Like, maybe, I don't care to eat dinner right now. Like we can play PlayStation later. Like, no, dude, you came all the way over and then you're in it. It's like, Matt came over here to do this. I have freaking friends. It's really fine. I can
You're
go
like,
home.
no, I'm fine. It's like, sit down. We are playing the game.
That's the only thing worse.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I feel like you feel like you're like, oh, I'm thirsty. I'm gonna go. You go open the fridge. You're like I'm stealing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like,
Like,
I'm
I
like,
can't. I
I've
cannot.
never thought of it
I
that way.
cannot
Oh, yeah.
do
No,
anything if I'm
no.
in somebody else's house by
no,
myself.
no. I got to ask to go to the bathroom. I got to ask to like, can I get a glass of water?
I'm gonna go sit in the chair and I'm just gonna like.
They've gotten past
sit.
that since coming to my house.
Yeah.
Well, I've been at your house collectively more than I've stayed at any friend's house ever in my life.
That's
And labels were put on things that said community, which was a big help.
when.
That is true.
Yeah.
Here.
There's one on the
Well,
fridge.
there's just a fridge,
Yeah,
but somehow the Fijis are never in that fridge.
they are never in that fridge.
I never drink Fiji water, by the way.
Icelandic, the new move.
So we kind of got off on tangents again, as we always do. But I did say at the very beginning that we were going to basically just do an overview of what's going on and what's to come. And so the last week or two, there's been a lot happening. Like just just like horsey things, like we got that new horse, which I think the day that we're filming this, it went up on YouTube. So if you haven't watched it, go watch. There's new horses galore at both the mini farm and the big barn. And they've just been settling in the heat, we just got back from the horse show, and just this is the time of year where it's becoming not the lull. It used to be like a real lull.
I know.
Boy, it used to be a lull.
It used to be a real lull, and we just don't have that anymore. So like yesterday was the first day that I started kind of clamoring for things to do because it was so hot. And so I started doing the ASMR crunches. You know how we said in the last video, we're like, y'all hate the dove hunt video. Y'all hate our ASMR videos.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, we haven't done one in a long time. What if I don't whisper? I think people hate me whispering. But we do. This is the text message that you ignored last night.
It was working.
I was like, what if we do like just a few different treats, a few different animals, and do crunches and do like a video just of different treats and how they sound and whatever. I mean, it works for other people. Other people like doing ASMR things. Why doesn't it work for us?
I don't know.
I think ASMR is something that especially has its own niches in amongst its niche. Like certain people could love that, but hate that.
Oh, we just lost so many people with that. Yeah.
Different. Maybe people hate whispering, but
I
love
did
crunches.
a video yesterday with carrot crunches, and I made it kind of like a little competition between horses. 'Cause that's the thing. Sometimes there's so much going on in a day, I don't have to think. We're just filming what's going on, and we have 16 videos. Like there's been a long stint of the last couple months where I'm posting 14 to 16 videos a day. It's just freaking crazy.
Yeah.
But like yesterday, I was like, oh, it took a lot to get to 11, which is still
It's still a lot, but it's
still a
hot.
lot. But I had to like kind of think and be like, oh, what can we do? It's too hot to do anything. And the animals aren't naturally doing anything because it's freaking hot. So like, what do we do? And so that's what I thought of. I was like, well, we could do like a YouTube version of that.
Diving in here for days like that. Start getting deep.
With who?
The people. Just hit record and just let it out. Now here's Catching Up with Katie. This is what I've been struggling with this week. That's what's really been hard for me.
I want to do
The therapy session.
Yeah, I want to do
a finger paint.
No. I had the idea. Remember of
Group therapy.
It's like a group therapy podcast, and I don't.
I just think everyone's gonna get their feelings hurt.
No. Why?
Nate said no.
I'm just like staring at you and like,
It depends on like the
get
therapy.
your feelings hurt.
I don't think in that.
What is the therapy?
Not in that context.
No.
I don't
is
think
it
I would in
therapy
that
childhood trauma, or is it what we all hate about each other?
I guess anything could come.
would depend
Everyone
on who
could
got served.
put down certain things. That
And
are
we just draw from a hat and read it.
It's like this is.
And everybody else gets like
No.
self-improvement. And I'm the only one who gets, why I don't like my dad.
No, it's like you would have a list of things that you'll never talk about. Like I don't want to talk about this. So this will just never be brought up. Everything else fair game. And then we have an actual therapist come in. We sit down and we just start yapping.
That needs to be incorporated with the sip and ride. That way we can get a little alcohol in there and like loosen the lips a little bit better.
So we have a little inside joke, a little trip joke, I would say, where what?
It's real.
Where when we go to dinner and we start
mind.
gabbing
Yeah.
and we start getting a little giggly and a little whatever. None of us drink, like hardly at all. And so when we go to like a nice dinner or something, we're out of town, and we'll get like a little glass of wine, whatever. And I'll get like, our joke is like, we're like, now I'm a half glass in, but
Listen.
and it like justifies anything we say.
It's like, listen, before I say this, you need to know I'm a half glass in.
But I just don't think.
And like, we're being truthful. It's only a half glass, and yet we're like, ooh.
Yeah, all holds or all. That's one that I've struggled with for my whole life. No holds barred
When have I ever heard that said in my life? I've never heard
I thought
that.
you were trying to say.
Is that the saying?
No.
Like we are like that's like when you're like letting it all like, hey, like everything's on the table, no holds.
all
like,
bets are off.
all bets are no holds barred, right?
I've
Or
never
no,
heard that.
No, now I'm saying it wrong.
It's. I think I know what you're.
But I wanted, yeah, that's just always confused me.
Like no holding back.
Yeah, but it's like no, hold it. You know what I'm? Y'all know what I'm saying. No holds barred. No.
No.
I'm actually not going to look it up. I'm going to let them tell us.
I've never heard that in
Flame
my
me,
life.
but it's true, and I don't know what it means. So,
But
if somebody could explain that to me.
You're onto something, though. I know you are.
But with that being said, we don't hold any. What is? I don't know. We
don't hold
back.
any punches.
We don't pull any punches.
Pull any punches.
We get a little loose with the lips with a little
Nobody's safe.
quarter to half glass.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, sometimes he goes espresso martini.
A little nightcap, if you will.
Have you even had a drink in the last?
Yes, I had a cold beer last night.
Yeah, you did get it. You got it because Rachel was making. She calls them palomas.
Yeah, we did have a Paloma. That was
great.
That was
With our
great.
After-
caviar pairing, dude.
Because in Kentucky, I mean, it was just some of those days were rough, and
just rainy and wet.
it was rainy, wet, gross, long, and so at night, Rachel was making these little fruity Paloma
so
drinks.
good.
Yeah, so it's so funny because we're drinking, but it's like everyone has one little tiny drink.
I did just get a nice Japanese whiskey.
Ooh,
Japanese
I would always
whiskey.
like to try sake, not what that is,
Yeah,
but
it's pretty good.
I just have
at
never.
your house,
In my house.
I've just never been a
you bring it.
drinker. Like I don't know. Like I didn't do it in college. The one time my friend Danny was a horrible influence on me one time, and we were on a trip, and that was like I think the worst night of my life. And because she's like, here, try this. This one has rum in it. Here, try this. This one has vodka in it. Here, this is wine. Here, this is, and I'm just like, okay. And
Yeah.
I think I was like 20, I don't know, 20. And because we were, it was legal. We were at the Bahamas. And I told my parents I had food poisoning.
Nice.
I don't know if they believe me or not.
Probably.
It's just what I think about as a
not.
father now.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh,
I think back
dude.
on scenarios that I think I got away with, and now I know I would have known.
Yeah.
Sure. But like, again, straight and narrow kid,
Mm-hmm.
you know? I told it the other day, I told my mom, not that I've been like a wild kid or anything, but I told her a bunch of stuff the other day. And she was like, so I don't know.
Maybe you did.
I don't know. But yeah, we're not a really wild bunch.
No.
No, bed by 10 kind of folks.
No, we're late bed goers.
Yeah.
We're just not wild.
I certainly am at home. I'm less so on trips though.
Well, yeah, we're usually getting up early and
Yeah. As soon as one or two people start like turning it in,
it
the
pisses
vibe shifts.
me off. I'll go get cozy and I'm like ready for like a little hangout sesh. And then when like in Kentucky, Stephanie and Rachel kept Irish goodbying and just like going to bed, not telling anybody. And then
Yeah.
I would be sitting in the living room and then I'd be like,
Well,
I'm also
Oh.
trying to learn the balance of like, you got a 7-day horse show. If I give
you don't want to hate everybody.
100% the first 3, and this is like, I've been like 5 or 6 horse shows at this point, whatever. And I'm figuring out the ratio. You get 100% like the first 3 days. Like, we're going to stay up all night. We're going to hang out. We're going to play game. We're going to play Monopoly. We're going to play, like all till 4 a.m., baby, because we're all like the 4th day, like after we're done hitting record, it's just like, nah, don't talk to me. I want to go to my room and not see anybody. Because I just need a minute. Last time I felt like there was a good balance.
It was a
of
good
that.
balance.
And so like
Yeah.
the whole time I felt like I was pretty,
And I'm hoping at the NSBA World in Tulsa, because like there's lots of different areas at that house, because like I got a house big enough for like my parents to come for a couple of days and like everyone to kind of have a good bedroom.
Oh, really?
No one's having to share bedrooms, like that kind of deal. And so I think there's enough space for everyone to go have like some time. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that applies to us.
What?
Do we have the bunk beds?
Oh wait, I think you'll have the basement.
That's okay. I'll get a hotel.
The basement's huge. It has its own kitchen. But it has the
It
big.
does have its own
That's
kitchen.
another thing we're going to start doing at these horse shows is, although the one thing I love about going somewhere is experiencing food from that place. Go to Oklahoma City, Tulsa, great food. But we have got to start cooking more in these places.
No.
Yes, we do.
Why?
I volunteer as tribute because I enjoy it.
Sure, but we're working
Not all the time.
most of the time.
Maybe we can film a chef spot with Matt.
No, I don't want to anymore.
My thing is,
taking my suit off.
What day do we have time to go to the grocery store
None
and
of
then
them.
cook?
It's all right. It's a dumb idea.
Yeah,
I
I
won't
think
bring
we
it up.
have bunks.
Yeah, but they're like the queen size bunks.
Yeah, they are queen beds.
They're queen beds, but they're like, yeah, I forgot. Y'all have the basement.
I'll have a hotel, but I'll be there in the morning for sure.
Shut
I picked this up 7 times, like pretending to drink out of it, and there's nothing in it.
Shut up. You will be fine because it like has the whole outdoor patio section, the giant pool. Like,
That's where I'll sleep, is in the pool.
I think there's like 5 bathrooms in this house. It's huge.
It is a really big house.
You'll be fine.
Do they have a pool table?
I don't know. There was a pool table at the one in Florida and no one used it.
Because we use those every time.
There's been a pool table so many times and we did not use it.
The only thing that I used a lot was the golf sim.
Yeah.
So it was in a totally different building. I never went and looked at it.
Yeah, I use that a
A
lot.
dartboard would go a long way.
Never mind.
You dart?
Never mind.
She always has like some bullcrap like thing that she's like, what? Like, are you really hit a horse too?
Oh yeah, like because I have a.
She has like these things. She's like, I'll play, and then whoom, beats you to death. Oh my gosh! What do you having to do with it?
No, I'm not.
Over here pulling 360s on me and stuff.
No, it's that with horse, I'm just smarter. So like I don't try to go do hard stuff.
Yeah.
I try to do the painstakingly easy stuff that and everyone misses them. I don't know why. You get right up there to the goal. I've perfected it, but nobody else practices that. Nobody
Yeah.
else knows how to do that.
It's too easy.
It's too easy. It's too easy. That's how I do that. But with like darts and stuff, we had a run. We had about a 3-year run
Okay.
in the dart scene.
That's
Longer than ping pong.
No, I'm also good at ping pong. If you weren't here, I'd be like a ping pong, like a really good ping pong person. It's like we just have, for some reason, we like capture all of these ping pong people. Like everybody has a ping pong person in their friend group. For some reason, all of those people from those friend groups flock here for
Yeah.
events. And we have these really good ping pongers all in one place.
I am self-conscious, for talking about it with how I throw a dart. It is one of the things that I am self-conscious about. I've been made fun of many times for how I throw darts.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be enough for me.
I don't actually know how to do it.
So we don't play with like the little plastic ones. Like we have
Yeah.
like metal tipped ones. And so, I was actually thinking about it. My elbow was hurting yesterday. And I'm like, I actually thought, I was like, I wonder if it's from all those years,
Yeah.
because I'm not joking you. I met Jonathan when I was 20 and I would say 2.5 years. The first 2.5 years of us dating at his nasty little like boy house that he lived in with 3 other boys. They had a dartboard and that's like all we did. And then at the local bar, which is no longer in existence, but back in the day, we frequented there like all the time. And Jonathan was like a dart shark. Like
Yeah.
it was awesome. And so we would play all the time. And so we'd play like pairs, but I mean, I don't know how I had the time to spend so much time on darts, but
I feel like that would be a great movie. Like there's a guy, he's kind of has like a dungy room with his roommates or whatever, and he goes over and he's always throwing darts, and then he's dating this girl and she comes over and she throws it and he's like you're pretty good. So then she starts going, and then time progresses, she's like making a run at nationals, and it's like just this big epic darts movie. I would watch.
Jonathan it's like, I don't know how he's so good at the like stupid little hand-eye coordination games, like ping pong, like darts. I'm like, how are you so gifted at this? I mean, kind of stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? But then by default, beer pong. Oh my gosh, we played so much beer pong. It's not even funny. And so, mind you,
it's fun just to play.
In college, I didn't drink like ever at all.
You had the advantage.
Well, my sorority, because at one point, like I got kicked out and then they let me come back for a semester. I took a little, didn't go to class, literally just did sorority stuff. And then I got kicked out again. Well, in that time period, had started dating Jonathan. And so he was this 23-year-old man going to my like sorority stuff. And we had this thing we called Joshel, which was a jean social. So you have to wear all blue jean. So I had found blue jean heels. I was wearing overalls with like I don't know, kind of a small shirt under. And everyone was just in blue jean. And we had a beer pong tournament where they had this huge, like, what do you call it? Where you have like seeds?
A bracket?
A bracket. They had this bracket made up. And because they all knew that I was like, didn't drink and didn't really party that much, they were like, oh, last seed.
Yeah.
They put me as this last rank.
Yeah.
But they didn't know who my boyfriend was.
Yeah.
And so we was started at the bottom, won it. Won the whole thing. There was 72 teams.
Golly.
Oh my gosh. I'm just imagining I'm imagining like,
it was an upset.
Everyone who lost was like, oh, he's 23.
He had like a full beard. Like he's this man in the middle of these children.
Like
Some of them are 18.
You're like there by yourself. They set their bracket and it's like slow motion. Jonathan's walking up and they're like,
and he's a big guy, you know, like in his cowboy boots, he's like 6'3". Like he's, I mean, he might be taller than that in cowboy boots, but he like had a full beard, was tall. Like
Handsome, blue eyes.
He is. But like some of these kids were like the freshmen coming in were like 18. The difference between an 18-year-old and a 23-year-old
astounding.
Especially
is
nowadays.
Astounding.
And so like not so much even in the girls, but like in the boys versus the man. And it was hilarious. Like he was like, I don't like this. He's like, I don't
want to be here.
Yeah, he did not. And so we just whooped everybody and it was so funny. And so there was like a traveling trophy. And so they were like, how do you have this? Like what? And I think what was it? It was a long-standing joke from then on after that. And I think it was a superlative one year. They were like, most likely to Katie Vince like at a beer pong tournament.
Yeah, you got a title card named after you.
Yeah. But it was that's the whole other life.
We got to get into it one day.
In my yearbook, I got something on my senior yearbook. Most something, but I don't remember what
I did too.
My whole high school sucked
Most
in the fact that they were like most likely to horse, and like they just like I was just labeled horse.
What stupid.
My graduation, mind you, they called me out as Catherine Elizabeth. That's not my name. Like my school just trolled me like constantly.
Your middle name's Abigail.
It is, and so
what's the Elizabeth?
That's just a generic.
That's the joke. That's the joke.
Okay.
And so they called me out as Catherine Elizabeth. It was like I'm in my yearbook as Catherine Elizabeth.
That's
wow.
Awesome.
And like my senior one with like my the black dress and
the big one,
Catherine Elizabeth. And so they just trolled me. So everybody else like they did it this year. I don't think they did it again after this, but they did where there's only 120 of us graduating. And so every single time someone came up on the stage, they would say 3 adjectives about this person.
Oh no.
So they would always do
this is a nightmare.
They would do something. They were all like, I honestly cannot even think because I'm just thinking about what they said about
Brave.
me. They were all adjectives.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that got a noun. Okay. Like they were all adjectives. And then I couldn't even remember what the other one, like I think mine were some like cop out BS ones. They're like kind, whatever. And then it was like equestrian,
That's an adjective.
horse girl.
Nice horse.
Literally. They're like, we don't know about this. We don't know anything about you. The horse.
Horse.
I don't even know your name.
You don't even know your name.
There's 120 kids. Okay. This isn't a
That's crazy.
1,000-kid high school.
Wow. Didn't know the name.
No.
Horse.
Okay. Well, I think I still failed at doing a catch up.
We're catching up with
Just
We're
watch
caught
the
up.
thing. Everybody sees the TikToks. They
Just
see the
watch the
YouTube
videos.
videos.
Yeah.
Just
They
watch
want to know
the
about
videos.
you and your. That's how Lily says soup.
I love that. Okay. Well, hope y'all enjoyed. I don't know how this is going to come out looking. So
100% great.
good luck.
Right.
Good luck. And we will see y'all in the next one.